Inflation in Korea has declined for 2 months in a row, while the average gas prices is also declining. The Korea Food and Drug Administration says it has found melamine in 2 cases of the imported milk protein from New Zealand. It has found that more than 10% of the population is age 65 or older in Korea. Hello and welcome to KBS World News Today. It's Thursday, the 2nd of October. Inflation in Korea has declined for 2 months in a row in the wake of falling prices of oil and agricultural produce. But remaining uncertainty over consumer prices continues to trouble the economy.
The average gasoline price in Korea is $1.42 per liter. The price is still considered high by many drivers, but it's down more than 16 cents from a record high in July. Lower gas and diesel prices also slightly reduced inflation last month. September inflation reached 5.1% last month year-on-year, hitting the 5% level for the 4th straight month. But the rise in consumer prices has slowed down over 2 consecutive months, since reaching nearly 6% in July. Prices of agricultural produce last month dipped 0.5% from August. That of oil fell 4.7% month-on-month, contributing to lower inflation. But the growth of the core consumer price index of items other than agricultural produce and oil hit a 10-year high of 5.1%.
유가 인하분의 효과가 3개월이나 6개월 정도의 시차를 두고 전반적으로 파급되는 그런 시차 효과 때문입니다.
Falling oil prices have apparently stabilized consumer prices. But uncertainty remains because of steep foreign exchange fluctuations and the planned hike in public utility costs set for the 4th quarter this year.
The industrial substance melamine has been found in milk protein imported from New Zealand. The concern over food products contaminated by melamine has now spread beyond China.
Korean Food and Drug Administration says it found melamine in 2 cases of imported milk protein, lactoferrin, co-produced and manufactured by the Tatua Dairy Co-op of New Zealand. Results showed melamine levels of 3.3 ppm and 1.9 ppm in the 2 products. Lactoferrin is the protein extracted from milk known to increase the body's immunity. So a small amount is added to the powdered milk or baby food. Korean-made baby powdered milk and cereals with lactoferrin tested negative for the melamine. Food safety authorities have seized the melamine-laced lactoferrin and temporarily banned the import of dairy ingredients produced by New Zealand company. This is the first time for melamine to be detected in a dairy product from the country other than China. This is making Korean consumers more nervous over food safety. The food watchdog will permanently ban all imports from food manufacturers that fail to meet safety standards. Melamine testing on Chinese food import is halfway through. Authorities are in the process of collecting the remaining 110 food products. 2 to 3 days are needed to conduct the test, so the announcement of the results may not come at the end of the week.
Korea's armed forces have celebrated the 60th anniversary of their foundation with a host of events. President Lee Myung-bak has also encouraged the military to reinvent itself as a cutting-edge elite force.
A street parade held for the first time in Seoul's Gangnam district is the highlight of the Armed Forces' 60th anniversary celebration. Leading the parade was the armored unit featuring next-generation tanks and armored vehicles. The Korean-made ground-to-air missile Chunma and Patriot missiles were also displayed. In all, 88 pieces from 25 types of weaponry were shown in the parade. The history of the Korean military was shown as servicemen dressed up in military uniforms of the past. Veterans, former military leaders, and the families of fallen soldiers were also invited to the ceremony. Prior to the parade, some 50,000 people saw the commemorative ceremony at Chamsil Sports Complex in southern Seoul. Then came an inspection of troops, followed by fighter jets and helicopters flying across the sky. Special forces also parachuted out of a plane. President Lee, in his congratulatory comments, urged the armed forces to reinvent themselves as an advanced elite fighting force to keep up with the changing security environment and challenges of the times. Armed Forces Day is celebrated with a flurry of events every 5 years, falling on the first year of a president's term. The government also announces its military policies on this day.
Friday will mark Senior Citizens Day in a reminder that Korea has joined the ranks of aging societies. More than 10% of the population is age 65 or older, the highest in the country's history. If the trend continues, the national burden of taking care of the elderly will rapidly rise over the next 2 decades.
This matchmaking company in Seoul has seen annual growth of 10% in the number of elderly clients seeking remarriage. Longer life expectancy has prompted more elderly to make a fresh start in their lives.
오랫동안 건강하게 같이 살 수 있겠다. 누굴 만나든 간에 서로 행복하게 살 수 있겠다 하는 자신감이 생긴 거죠.
The population of people of age 65 or older exceeded 5 million in July. That translates into nearly 60 elderly people per 100 children aged 14 or younger. The elderly population in 2016 will surpass that of children and will be doubled that in 2030. The younger generation will have to do more to support the elderly. 7 economically active Koreans support 1 elderly person now, but this ratio will drop to 2.7 to 1 by 2030. The growing elderly population has also resulted in higher healthcare costs. Care for senior citizens accounted for more than 28% of all healthcare costs last year.
노인 의료비 부담이 사회적으로 너무 큰 부담이 될 확률이 높습니다. 그래서 전반적으로 의료 시스템을 치료 위주에서 예방 위주로 확 바꿔야 된다고 생각을 합니다.
A survey shows that health management and financial problems are the major challenges facing the elderly population.
Leading actress Choi Jin-sil was found dead in an apparent suicide at her home Thursday morning. Police say her mother filed a report after finding her daughter's body. Choi hanged herself in the shower with bandages. Police assume the actress killed herself. Choi was one of the giants of the Korean show business, having starred in numerous dramas and movies since her debut in 1988. It's been nearly 2 decades since a law requiring companies to have more than 2% of its staff be disabled workers went in effect. But employment of the disabled remains low. Some 80 workplaces have no disabled workers whatsoever.
This food company posted revenues of more than $21 million last year, but no disabled employees work here. The company employs 1,600 people, and according to law, at least 32 must be workers with disabilities. But the company has had no hiring plans since last year.
판촉직이 1,250명 정도가 되는데 언어의 어려움이 있거나 신체 어려움이 계시는 분들은 제품을 진열하거나 판매하는데 불편함이 있어서
65 private companies that each employ more than 300 permanent workers have no disabled staff. They include Lotte Data Communication, Shinsegae International, CJ Engineering and Construction, and even Microsoft Korea. 17 major companies have hired 0 disabled workers over the past 5 years. The situation is the same at public agencies. This government affiliate has a disabled worker quota of 3, but has hired none over the past 4 years. The number of public institutions lacking disabled employees is 23. They include the Korea Labor Institute and the Korea Press Foundation. The employment rate of the disabled at government agencies is 1.6%, and that of private companies is 1.5%. This is far below the mandated 2%.
고용 부담금의 비중도 높이면서 또 고용을 하는 기업에 대한 고용 장려금을 더욱더 또 비중을 높여주는 이 일을 동시에 해나갈 필요가 있다고 봅니다.
Only 90,000 of some 1.3 million disabled people older than 15 are employed in the country. This shows that corporate perceptions of disabled workers are dying hard.
The global financial crisis had little effect on the Korean luxury brand market, which is still booming. Increased spending on luxury brands despite a sluggish economy, can be witnesses, worsening the gap between the rich and the poor.
More customers are flocking to designer brand corners at department stores. Many of the customers are young people in their 20s and 30s, especially men. Leading department stores last month saw sales of luxury goods rise 40% year on year. One home shopping company has put a luxury vehicle up for sale. This imported car cost more than $140,000. The car was the most expensive item on the shopping channel, but 50 orders were placed within an hour.
소비의 양극화가 더 심화되는 것 같습니다. 그래서 부자들은 더 소비가 줄지 않고 더 늘린다는 게 이번 결과로서.
The wealthy in Korea are obviously unaffected by plunging consumer sentiment or sluggish economy. The downside to this trend is that certain people buy things they cannot afford.
가치 소비 성향이 커지면서 본인의 소득보다 상향된 소비 패턴을 추구하는 소비 계층이 늘어나고 있는 점 등이 명품 시장에 영향을 미치고 있습니다.
Korea is number 1 in Asia in buying designer goods and 3rd or 4th in the world. But higher consumption by the upper income class is doing little to stimulate low domestic demand.
The Busan International Film Festival has opened for the 13th year. Asia's biggest movie event will see a grand opening ceremony in Korea's largest port city.
The 13th Busan International Film Festival has opened. The opening ceremony will be hosted by actor Jung Jin-young and actress Kim Jong-un. The opening film is The Gift to Stalin by director Rustem Abdrajev of Kazakhstan. This year's festival will feature 315 movies from 60 countries, the largest number in the event's history. 85 films will make their international debuts at the festival. This year's festival will also feature programs aimed at nurturing and discovering top-quality Korean movies. The Asia-Pacific Film Policy Plus Forum will also be held. Films will be screened at 37 theaters throughout Busan until October 10th. Events on the eve of the festival's opening help create a festive atmosphere in Busan, such as the unveiling of stars' handprints and a concert.
A lantern festival has opened in Jinju, South Gyeongsang Province, to commemorate one of the 3 major battles fought during the Japanese invasion in the late 16th century. Some 40,000 lanterns have lit up the beautiful autumn evening along the Nam River.
More than 40,000 lanterns are lit at once. Bright and colorful lanterns come in various shapes and designs, including a real-size front gate replica of Jinju Fortress. The addition of huge lotus flower forms a picturesque scenery.
굉장히 화려하고요. 그리고 불꽃 축제가 너무 장관이에요. 다리에서 이렇게 폭포수처럼 떨어지는 불꽃도 멋있고요.
This year's festival will have the highest number of lanterns lit in the event's history. The lanterns include those symbolizing 19 other countries and those made by Jinju residents. Tourists cross a little bridge over the Nam River to get a closer look at the lanterns and make a wish. The tradition of lighting lanterns on the surface of the river comes from an old battle strategy used in the 16th century Japanese invasion. The idea was to keep Japanese soldiers from crossing the river. The festival is one of the world's 3 biggest of lanterns. Around 3 million attended the event last year. The festival will run through October 12th, featuring events such as an art festival, silk expo, and traditional bullfights.
Book cafes offering an atmosphere just right for reading and enjoying a moment of relaxation have become today's hottest trend. Here are some book cafes offering something special for everyone, even for children and their parents. This is a book cafe where customers can enjoy a relaxing cup of coffee among some 600 books. The cafe is enjoying a noticeable increase in the number of customers this fall.
평소에는 주로 도서관을 가기도 하는데 도서관보다 또 색다른 그 편안함과 분위기가 있어가지고 애들하고 가끔 주말에 같이 나옵니다.
There are a number of tables for one. Customers can even browse the web in leisure. The cafe is wireless internet accessible. This unique coffee place offers another pleasure, food bath.
책 읽으면서 조격도 있으니까 피로도 풀리고 그 정도.
The cafe also takes you to the romantic days of writing letters on paper. Customers can purchase letter papers and postcards sold in the cafe and just put them in a mailbox standing outside the door. The cafe owner will put the stamps on and mail them for customers. This is a book cafe / wine bar. Some 150 books here are on only one subject, wine.
또 와인 마시다가 궁금한 거는 여기서 또 책 골라서 이렇게 펴보면 또 와인에 대한 정보도 많이 얻고 갈 수 있고, 그래서 뭐 와인 그 동호회라든지 아니면 와인을 뭐 세미나를 한다든지 이런 사람들이 오면은 거의 자료 필요 없이 여기서 모든 게 다 해결이 되니까, 그래서 이제 그런 공간을 좀 꿈꿔왔었고.
Customers can enjoy about 400 different kinds of wine brought from all corners of the world. This place also offers pasta dishes, salads, and steaks that go well with wine. This certainly is a book cafe with a distinct ambience. In the outskirts of Seoul, in the city of Paju, Gyeonggi Province, there is a great book cafe for children. The place has more than almost 3,000 books for children. The floor is heated, so children can read on the floor more comfortably. Volunteers are stationed at cafe to find books for children and even read to them. Thanks to the volunteers, mothers are free to read without being disturbed or chat with friends. There are other things to do besides reading books. Installation artists have put up works portraying the underwater scenery. Exhibitions with different themes also take place here, as well as some interesting hands-on programs. On the upper floor, there is a book cafe just for adults and a children's bookstore with over 40,000 books in stock.
집 안에 모든 걸 다 꾸며놓을 수는 없는데 이런 곳에 오면은 다양한 모습을 보여줄 수 있으니까 저희한테도 이제 분위기 전환도 되고요.
There are lots of inviting places around the village, just right for settling down and reading a book. How about enriching your mind and body with a good book and a fragrant cup of coffee this fall at these wonderful book cafes? Here are today's economic indicators and the weather. That's it for this edition of KBS World News Today. Have a nice day, and thank you for watching.